Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
My name's Arnes.
And today in this unimportant review, we got the Moderoid model kits that we put together a little bit ago on a couple of live streams, actually, of the Super X and the Super X2 from Return of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Why does the Super X2 kind of remind me of Starship Troopers without details on it?
Yeah, a little bit. I think the green isn't very Starship Troopers either.
No. Just like the the shape, the design of it, you know?
Yeah, it's got that. Well, it's got like that 90s like tank era feel.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Right. But we put these together on the live stream. Still wanted to showcase these. If you're planning to pick these up, because I feel like most people, if they were going to be buying these, they're probably going to buy them, assemble them, put on a shelf, call it a day. So this gives you a frame of reference for that. I do plan on painting them. I might paint them on the streams. It all depends, because this one I actually don't really plan on hard painting. I'm probably just going to put a little bit of black primer in my airbrush and then just go over the seam lines.
Give it a little bit of that detail nudge.
Yeah, and so it just pops it a little bit more and makes it look more like how it does in the box. Because I think the base color I actually really like. So if I just do that black lining, I think it'll look really good. And then just touch up a couple of areas here and there. This one, I'm probably going to be spray painting.
Full details?
Yeah, I'll spray this black, and then I'm going to go over the entire thing with silver rub and buff.
How come? Because that's actually one that's more accurate.
Because the rub and buff would make it look more accurate.
Oh, God. Why are you going all out, Steve?
So that's probably what I'm going to do that. And then if I do it that way, too, when I do the black primer, I don't have to do all the panel lining either, because it'll be black.
Touche.
And then when I rub and buff it, it'll just go over top and give it that nice metal look like you see in the film. But wanted to go over that as a frame. The previous one I put together of these guys is this Kane robot from RoboCop 2, which I bought primarily to go with the NECA RoboCop figures, because they sadly don't make a Kane robot.
Which sucks, because it's actually a good villain.
Yeah, it would be one that I would like hard buy. Now that I got this and I put it together, I'm hard pressed to believe that NECA would make a better one that looks better than this.
Honestly, probably not.
Because I painted this to match the NECA, so you'll see it's not the most weathered looking thing ever, but I kind of based the coloring off the puppet.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Which also looked like this. So it didn't really have like a lot of the like oil weathering stuff. So like I said, I mainly painted it to match those and not like screen accurate. But was really pleased with that one. So I like the company. So reason why I invested into these. Also with these unimportant reviews, they go up on our Patreon in advance. If you guys like to help support the channel, we also don't edit these things. So if you hear the walking above me right now, that's going to sadly be in the video. But you can help support us. It's $1 to get into that. $3 gets you into our Discord. $5 gets you added to the bottom of the videos. So on and so forth. Also, another reason why I bought these is I actually want to 3D scan these. So that for my collection, I can have this next to my monster arts.
See, that looks great. I love that.
Which I think would be sweet. Because, oh God, I wish I would have brought it down. Because for the X pluses, I think this is a little big. But is serviceable enough.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty close to the size, but it is a little large. And especially this one, I think is probably too big. If you had the 89, which I don't have. Mainly, like I said, I got this one too. Again, trying to scan it and so that I can have this with the Monster Arts 89, I think would be really dope. But anyways, first and foremost, I think between the two kits, this is probably my favorite one.
That one really is, because it stands out. I'm not sure why, but
I think between them, they both got very simplistic paint jobs, or not even paint jobs. It's just the plastic. Like this one's just, it's green. This one, it's silver. But with it just being the silver, it looks a little bit more movie accurate. This one needs a little bit of airbrushing to really make it pop. But primarily the solid coloring still works good, but definitely needs at least a bare minimum panel lining. And if you really want to go above and beyond, if you want to do a little bit of airbrushing and go over the seams, I think it would really make this thing stand out. This one, on the other hand, if you just stuck this on your shelf, I think it's pretty darn serviceable. And if you want to go above and beyond, like I mentioned, primary black, silver rub and buff, I think would do this thing wonders. And then you can touch it up a little bit here and there, like adding some detailing to the cannons, the side plating here. But I think, like I mentioned, the way it sits, I think it's pretty darn near perfect. For the gimmicks, as you guys can see here, the cannons do lift up and down. The front laser does open and close. One negative I got is these are kind of a loose fit. So you don't have to worry about breaking it. It does hold if you're not messing with it, but when you start playing with it.
What's the easiest way to fix that, Steve? I know people are going to ask, so.
That's a tough one, because you're my go-to would be is you need to thicken the connecting piece so that there's more friction. So when it opens and closes, but it's not anything bad. It feels a little loose. Also, these pieces lift up too to reveal the little missiles on the side here. So that lifts up as well. And then, as you guys see me messing with these earlier, these are kind of a pain, but there's the little fins on the side here. If you get your nail in there, you can pull these out and the guns rotate. And that does that for each of these. It's just trying to slide this thing, like I mentioned, is a bit of a pain, but these do rotate side to side. And the one thing I think is super cool is that the little thrusters on the bottom are also on ball joints.
Really?
So you can adjust these.
Oh, that is awesome.
Depending on if you're doing a lot of like photography and stuff, it gives you a lot more play with it, and even just posability on your shelf.
See, it's that little details like that that actually I appreciate at least.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about the Moderoids. They give you like so much thing, like pretty much like you got everything you needed for a cane.
Yeah.
Outside of like effects pieces, it gave you like all the options to do everything else, which I think is sweet. You also get some clear plastic here for the little visor here. It does have the little portholes on the side here. And then all the panel lining, the extra details are good. And the one thing I noticed on this kit when assembling it is there's not nearly as many exposed nub marks on this one, which again, painting it's going to kind of hide those a little bit. Because of the way the plastic is, it's hard to really smooth it down without painting it. Because if you start sanding this, it's just going to get more and more noticeable. But to me, for a lot of kits, I feel like this one's got a lot more hidden ones than exposed ones. Because there's definitely some showing, but I don't think it's nearly a standout, especially if you got it sitting on your shelf. And then eventually you can just say it's battle damage. While with the Super X2, the one thing that's kind of annoying is this little piece here doesn't fully close. And then talking to some people, they also have the same problem. And that's for the gimmick here where it's got the reflecting laser on the front. And you'll notice now that I did this, it really doesn't want to set. And you have to kind of finesse it back into place to really get it to stay without popping open. It's just kind of working this. And a lot of that is the same problem with the little mouthpiece on the Super X here, is that it's just a really loose fit on the inside. So it's just got a lot of play with it. And there's a lot of room to give. Now, granted, I was looking over it because there's a couple of nub marks I probably need to clean up a little bit more, especially like right here. But there's nothing really in the way of keeping it from fully closing.
That's kind of messed up. What?
It's not horrendous, but it would be nice if I can get that a little bit more flush.
But honestly, I'll be honest with you, Steve. If I was to own this, I would honestly always leave it open.
Yeah, to be honest, if I was going to stick it on my shelf, it's probably going to be like that.
It's going
anyways.
to get like that.
It's going to be like that with the weapons out.
Yeah.
It also does have the little thing up here, which I totally forget what this is about. This one has more exposed nub marks, though, I will say, because you can see them there. The weapon here has got quite a bit of them. You can see them on the sides. Bit more. I think a lot of it too is maybe just the coloring maybe makes it stand out more, but it definitely is a lot more visible And then you get the black here for the thrusters. For its other gimmick, which one thing with these is there's this little plastic piece down here. If I can get it off. If you do have a stand, you could peg it in right there. This one, I think, also has the same thing. Whoop.
Uh-oh.
Right there. That's where you can attach a stand.
Don't lose that, Steve.
To be fair, once I eventually do buy stands for these, I'm going to have to find a place to put it anyways. Starting to get sad because it came with a little rod, and I don't see it hanging out on the table anymore. So I'm looking around for something kind of thin and pokey. Okay, we got the succubus figure here.
and pokey, love it.
I think her whip I can take apart. Yes, I can. Yeah, get over. Okay, so it needs some kind of rod because right here you insert that into there. And you'll see the thing kind of flipping open. I think this is going to be a little short. But that exposes the missiles on the top. So you can have the full look. It's supposed to go up a little bit more, but like I said, that rod's kind of short.
Oh, I like that.
There we go. So that fully exposes, so you got the missiles.
That's how we would go, so I don't think that front would even matter too much.
Yeah, when assembly, it's kind of sweet too because it's actually clear plastic, and then there's a piece of chrome plastic behind it.
Oh,
and that's what makes it look super reflective, which I think is sweet. And like I mentioned, just doing a little bit of that airbrushing, I think would pretty much is all you really need to do with this thing. And a little bit. If you bought these together, you pretty much need some black primer and some rub and buff.
That's it.
And you would be able to get both of these done. Because you just do a little bit of rub and buff on the jets here. The missiles are probably like the one thing you'd have to actually like sit and paint because they are just black. So you can either just go easy and just go over a little bit of rub and buff just to give it a little bit more character, or you can actually individually paint the missiles. The other thing too is there's a little clear plastic here on the little, like I mentioned, I forget what that is. I think it's a camera. Because I think this one was like nobody piloted it, if I remember right. I can't remember. It's starting to bug me because I've seen Godzilla vs. Biollante so long, and I'm like, was this thing an RC? So I remember a computer because I kept having to like line it up.
That's what cameras for lining it up.
Yeah, it's a hot minute because I was like, is that a weapon or is that a camera? And I can't remember.
We're going with a camera.
I should watch the movie before doing these, but I just don't have the time. I was watching solo leveling.
Yeah.
I watched the entire season in like 2 days. It was good times though. It's good times. Although I skipped that 7.5 one.
That was stupid. I was just wasting my 7.5 timeline.
Yeah, it's like a half hour of something I already binged. So
yeah.
I don't need to watch it again. But the detailing on this is sweet. And overall, for these, I think they're like good enough to sit on your shelf the way they are. But if you don't mind putting a little bit of work into them, these things will be perfect. The only thing is like I said, the little gimmicks could be a little bit tighter on certain sections. But overall, I think they're pretty sweet and highly recommend them. They were like 50-ish bucks.
Honestly, they're really awesome. I thought it was just like the basic thing, but then the weapons open up, there's a lot more to it than just what it looks like.
Them. But anyways, I digress.
I recommend her.
I do too. I think it's awesome. I pre-ordered the Nun. The Nun, I guess you could get like soft parts.
Ta-ta, Turbo Man. See, what is
am I going to play with that? No, but it's kind of neat that it has it. He says. But anyways, you can help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook. Guys, like keep up to date with channel, donate. Greatly would appreciate it. Also, you guys like to pick up some kaiju collectibles for yourself. Link in the description for entertainment or help support channel. Get yourself some sweet collectibles. Anyways, see you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.